I hear from so many people that say they don't know when or how or if they can retire. Today, we are going to talk about how to figure that out. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I am someone who has just always been good with numbers, and I don't find them intimidating. So maybe that gives me a leg up on some things. But today I'm going to share with you how I knew it was okay for me to retire early, how I knew I was financially okay to do that, and I feel like this knowledge is so logical and so easy that I want to pass it on. I've had conversations with friends and with viewers lately of people telling me, I just don't know if I can retire. I don't know how I can retire. They are so scared of the unknown and they don't know how to put a number on it. And I think that's how a lot of people keep working so long, is they just don't know how much is enough to have saved. And they just keep working because they're so scared of that unknown. Most things that are unknown cause us uncertainty. And that's where those feelings come from, is they just don't know their numbers. So today we're going to figure out how to put those numbers down so that we have an idea of what we need to retire. I think we as humans tend to make things complicated when they really are not always that complicated. And I feel like this is one of those situations that we overcomplicate. So here is the formula that I used to figure out how much I needed. I took what I had in savings. I took what projected income that I had during the time that I would be retired. If I had any passive income, any pensions, any interest, anything that would be coming in regularly. And I calculated that plus any Social Security income that I had coming. Now, I got on SSA.gov and I looked at how much I could get at 62, 62 in 1 month, 62 in 3 months, 65, 67. I looked at how much I could get if I pushed that back, and I calculated how much did I think I needed if I lived to, say, 88 years old. What would I need? I calculated what my essential costs were to live. I looked at my housing, my transportation, my healthcare costs, my utilities, and food. And I calculated that. Now, those numbers might change just a little bit, but for the most part, I had a really good idea of what I needed to live, very basic needs. And then I looked at anything extra I was spending and was it really necessary? And did it mean enough to me that I would push back my retirement so I could have these things? If there were things I wanted to buy before I retired, like I got $3,500 worth of dental work done, I got my well fixed, I did a bunch of things like that that needed done before I retired and made sure they were all paid for. How much did I need per year to live on? And how much would I need if I lived to be, say, 88? Now, not everybody may calculate to 88, but I looked at the longevity of my family and I projected from there. So that's how I came up with my numbers. So again, just savings plus projected income plus Social Security for those in the United States, and take that as my basic of my income and then divided it amongst how long I thought I was going to live, and I looked at how much I needed per year to live. Now, everybody says you need that 1 million mark. Well, my savings plus my projected income plus my social security actually came out to about $936,000 is how much I needed. Well, that's really close to that 1 million mark. But I think a lot of people forget to add in those three components to see if they're close to that 1 million mark. They think they need that 1 million mark before they retire. And then we need to take a hard look at how we are living. How important is it to us to retire early or to take vacations or to do some of these things in our life that bring us joy? For us, right now, we have a CD going, and when that CD ends in about March, we will have enough to take our vacation in April. So we won't even have to touch our savings to take a really nice vacation. Now, we have money stuck back in case we want to take a vacation, and we still have some passive income that comes in month to month that I put extra towards my savings because I'm not going to cut out vacations. That's important to me. But our vacation in April will run about $2,500, which is a very expensive vacation for us. We've taken some that were way less than that, closer to $500. But this one is going to include airfare, car rental, and a resort hotel. So it's going to cost more. But I have talked to some people who retired where their cruise to another country was $20,000. So you're going to want to rein in, what am I going to want to do in retirement? And how much is it really going to cost me? And do I want to plan for that? Or do I want to scale it back a little bit and maybe not take a vacation that's so extravagant? You also really want to look at your housing costs. I talked to someone the other day who owned a second home, but was still paying on the home that they were in. And the home they were paying on was $2,200 a month, and it was like a 5-bedroom home, and it was just them. And I asked them, are you planning on downsizing? And they said, no, I don't think so. Not right now, anyway. Okay, so that person made the decision that their housing cost was going to be $2,200 a month. That's a big chunk that she would need to plan for if she plans to stay in that house. But for us, we are living very simply in an old farmhouse. We have window ACs. We have shade trees. We don't use our AC a whole lot. We don't use our heating a whole lot unless it gets really cold. We keep our costs really, really low. They're under $300 a month for our housing. That frees up a bunch of money for us to do other things or to save or work less in the future. So we all make those decisions of how we want to live and what things are important to us in retirement. And those are the kinds of things you want to look at when you look at what number you need. So if you start now and get really serious, no matter how old you are, I really got serious like the last 5 years before retirement. I got so serious that I started cutting back to see how much I really could live on, bare bones, how much I could start sticking back. And I started living on one of the two paychecks I was getting per month. Well, now since I've retired, I'm spending even less than that. I'm spending less than what one of those paychecks were per month, and I'm living comfortably on less than what one paycheck was. So then when I get my Social Security, it will be like having the two full paychecks again. And I'm going to have a bunch more money because I have gotten used to living on less than what one paycheck was comfortably. So these are all things you want to think about. So many people are worried about that number before they retire. And I think they usually find out once they've retired that it takes a lot less to live than what they even thought. The costs are so much less once you retire. Now, yes, you're going to have some vacations in there and some fun stuff you're going to do, but overall, you're going to be cooking at home almost all the time. You're probably not going to be eating out like when you were working. You're probably not going to be stopping by the drive-throughs like when you were working, maybe for breakfast or for a coffee. You're going to have less gas. You're going to have less clothing costs. So for some people, their utilities might go up a little bit because they're home. For us, our utilities have not gone up at all with me being home. They've stayed exactly the same. I'm still very careful about how much electricity I use when I'm home during the day. We try not to turn on the AC until late in the evening when my husband is home if we need it. Nothing has changed because I am home on our home costs. And even on the food hasn't gone up with me being home. I prefer to make easy, fresh meals when I'm home during the day, and they're usually very simple and very cost effective. I've had this big run on BLTs lately that I am just loving. And so I'm making like a fresh BLT every day with homegrown lettuce from the garden, a couple of pieces of bread, and tomatoes that I purchased because my tomatoes aren't ready yet from the garden, and 2 pieces of bacon. Very frugal lunch, but super delicious and fresh. So a lot of the things we're doing at home are usually a lot cheaper than if we were working full time. And that's one thing I don't think that we think about. Once we're not working, there's so many costs like wear and tear on the car, extra oil changes, extra tires. A lot of those things get diminished so much when we are retired. So that's one of the things I would look at. Is there anything you can downsize? Is there anything you can sell? I've sold so much stuff on eBay lately, and it's really shocked me because been going through things, I've been donating things, I've been disposing of things, and then there's some things that I'm like, yeah, I think this is really worth something. I'd kind of like to try to sell this before I just donate it. And I've been doing well with selling some of the things that I had. So, there's ways to bring in little bits of extra money that are not budgeted in, that are just extra, and then you can put that towards whatever you need to put it towards. But you could even get a part-time job if you really wanted to. If you retired and you thought, well, I really need a little bit more than I thought, you could always go back to work part-time. But I just don't want those unknown numbers scare people into trying to retire if they want to. I retired at 57 at the end of October. I'm now 58. I'm starting my 10th month of retirement, and everything has gone so smoothly as far as what I projected in money, what I projected I would need, what I projected was coming in. Everything has been going so well that I'm really self-confident and secure that I know that I'm going to be fine and be able to ride this out until my Social Security does start, and then I'm actually going to have extra money. So I think the known gives us self-confidence and it gives us security. So that's where I'm at. I projected, it was unknown, now it's known, and I'm very self-confident and secure that I'm going to be okay. But putting those numbers down until no one is really going to be able to help you with that. People asking me, do I have enough? Well, I don't know how you live. You're the only one that knows how you live. You're the only one that knows what your costs are and if there's any place you can tweak. And sitting down and actually putting a pen to paper and looking at those numbers is the best way for you to figure out and answer that question. Can I retire? When I can retire? If I can retire? You have all those numbers at your fingertips. It just takes a few minutes to sit down and start calculating that. And if you haven't started your ssa.gov login, I encourage you to do that. There's several layers of security, but you can keep an eye on that if you're still working because those numbers will change. And if you're self-employed, those numbers will change and be updated. And so you want to keep an eye on that if you're not drawing it yet so you can keep your projections up to date as well. I hope that this video has had some helpful information in it for you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.